Hello and welcome to this morning's Liverpool news roundup here on Anfield Agenda. It feels like more of a football hangover this morning, in all honesty, than a news video. Shout out to True Geordie on that. If you used to watch his series, The Football Hangover, I used to love that growing up, and that's what it feels like this morning because I don't even know where to start. I know we were always going to rotate in that game last night, and it was always a good chance we'd go out, but my God, like 6 losses from 7 games now. It's getting to a point now where you have to just start questioning everything, and it's just depressing. What a sad time to be a Liverpool fan. It is sad. What a come down from the start of the season and the end of last season. So yeah, like I said, we will get into it in this video anyway. We do have some news around some potential new contracts for Ryan Gravenberch and Dominik Szoboszlai, which is some good news. And then we have a few quotes from the manager, and just generally going to chat about the game last night and the position of the manager at this club, because questions do need to be asked. I'm not quite saying I want him out just yet, but it's heading down a dark path if I'm being honest. So hit the subscribe button if you're new, hit the like button, and let's get into it. Look, we'll start off on the lighter side. We'll get a bit of good news in there. So Romano was speaking on his podcast yesterday, and he said that Liverpool are preparing a discussion with Ryan Gravenberch's agent over a new contract. Liverpool also want to discuss with Dominik Szoboszlai over a new deal. I seem to always forget how young Ryan Gravenberch is. Like, he's 23 now, and his contract runs out in 2028. Szoboszlai has just turned 25 and his runs out in 28 as well. So if you can add another 2 or 3 years to these contracts, like, you're getting these lads tied down to the point where they're getting towards 28, 29, 30. Like, it would be a very good position for the club to be in if we can tie down the long-term futures of these players. Like, arguably two of our best players this season, in all honesty. Like, they've both been fantastic in what has been a horrible, horrible season so far. So if we can get them tied down, then brilliant. No real updates on the likes of Ibrahima Kanate, whether he will sign or whether he's going to leave. But I think the club will now be better moving forward in terms of getting players tied down earlier, not letting them go for free. Like, in that turbulent period where we nearly lost Van Dijk and Salah and we did lose Trent, Kanate now is running out of contract. It's just with the switch over of like sporting directors and everything, like there was just a couple of years there where contracts really went under the radar. So it's good to see that the club is showing a bit of initiative. Getting Gravenberch and Szoboszlai tied down will be brilliant, like I said. So I know everyone wants to speak about how bad we are at the minute, but looking long term is always a good thing, and we should be keeping an eye on these things as well. So if we can get Gravenberch and Szoboszlai tied down to new deals, then happy days. That would be absolutely fantastic. Let's hope they do both want to stay, of course, as well. That is important. Let's hope this doesn't start the ball rolling for players want to leave or anything. But I think I'm confident enough. I think that Gravenberch and Szoboszlai would want to stay here because they've really hit a new level since joining us, and I don't think they'd want to disrupt that at this point in their careers. I would expect maybe not like easy negotiations. I'm sure they'll ask for a good pay bump, but I can see these two getting over the line. I don't think either of these will be forcing a move in the next 12 months or anything like that. Moving on to the manager, then we do have some quotes from after the game last night, and he said, "I saw Manchester City's starting 11, and they didn't have one starter from the weekend, but it felt like their best team. That is a bit of an insight. Chelsea can bring Estevao in. After I made 2 substitutions tonight, we had 6 teenagers." And I know we touched on this last night in the match reaction as well. Like, Craig went in depth on this one, and this quote in particular really pissed him off, and it really pissed me off when I read it too, because, like he says there, after I made 2 subs, we had 6 teenagers. Like, he picked the bench, he picked the team. Like, why is that a shock? The man puts teenagers on the bench and then wonders why he only has teenagers on the bench. Like, explain that one. I know, obviously, like, you're not going to field your best 11 in a game like this, but, like, you could stick 1 or 2 of your better players into the starting 11 and put another 1 or 2 on the bench, or even start the team we did and have 3 or 4 options on the bench. Like, if you had an Ekitike to come on, if you had a Salah maybe, just like more options. Like, the second we went behind, that was game over because we were never going to be able to claw back a result with the options we had on the bench. Like, Crystal Palace were pretty much at full strength, and then they brought Mateta on. We brought Laffy and Lucky, and look, absolutely no disrespect to these lads, like, because they've been absolutely thrown under the bus by Arne, in my opinion. Pressure's on, and he went with a weakened team with a built-in excuse as to why he'd lose. Like, I think, not saying it was purely this, but like, if he had started, let's say, half of our main starters and we lost the game, it would have been much worse, because then it's looking like we went strong and still lost. But when we went weak, when we went with a weaker bench, it was a built-in excuse to be like, well, look, we have injuries, we can't play everyone every week, and Crystal Palace had a better team, and that's pretty much what has happened. So I don't know. It's getting to the point now where even the stuff Slot is coming out with after games is just, it's bordering on delusion, and I don't know what the answer is, because I do love the man, and I hope he turns it around. But my God, it's getting harder and harder after every game to defend him because some of the decisions he's making are just baffling, and I don't know. I'm like I said, I'm finding it hard to be positive, and I'd like to think I'm a fairly optimistic person overall in life, but it's getting to a point now where it's just getting ridiculous. Arna continued then saying, if you look at the week coming up, that is going to be a big week for us, everyone and the club. We need as many players available as we can. You can see today with the lineup I had to make, I only rested the players that have played mainly in the last week. This is the lineup you get. That shows you we already have a few injuries. With a big week coming up, for me, it felt the best choice. And like it is a huge, huge week in all regards. I think it's season defining for us. Like we need to get results again. It's make or break for Arne Slot in all honesty. Like I think if we lose 2 or 3 of these games, I think a lot of people will start to be Arne Slot out. Like I said, I'm not quite there yet, but I think these next few games will be a big indication of whether he is the man or not, because we can't afford to slip behind even further in the Premier League. Like, fair enough, the Champions League, I think we'll get into the top 24 regardless. I'd have my doubts about getting into the top 8, but in all honesty, I don't really care as long as we get through. Like you see last year, PSG didn't finish in the top 8, went on to dominate the competition and won it all. So I'm not too fussed in all honesty. As long as we do get through, I'm happy enough with that. So, but yeah, the league, we just can't afford to keep letting points drop, and we can't fall behind, because if we can't stay in a title race, then we at least need to stay in a position where we have a guaranteed top 4 finish and we can actually focus on the Champions League later on in the season. Like, at least if we do have a buffer in the Champions League spots to the next spots to be like, right, we're pretty much guaranteed Champions League now. We can kind of start to rotate a little bit and focus more on the Champions League or maybe the FA Cup latter stages as well. Like if we are out of a title race, we should at least be heavily solidifying our top 4 spot. Like we should be putting distance between ourselves and the likes of Bournemouth and these clubs who are like up around the top 4. We should be fully solidifying ourselves in the top 3 or 4. So, like I said, can't afford to drop too many more points. I don't know what will happen if we do lose the next few games, because I think it's hard to know if the club will even make this decision, because I think they will want to back the manager. Obviously, they've put a lot of money behind him. Looking around the footballing world, even there's not a huge amount of glaringly obvious choices to bring in. Like obviously people would want Klopp to come back, but how realistic is that really? Is it even the right decision anyway? Like, do you go backwards in that regard? Iriola at Bournemouth, of course, is one spoken about, but that's still a risk. Then you have the likes of Oliver Glasner again. Like, it's an unknown quantity in terms of the big teams. So, like, there's no obvious choice to replace him. It's not like this is our time to strike because X, Y, or Z is available, you know. So I think the club probably will stick with the manager regardless of the next few games. But if we do lose to Villa at the weekend after resting all of our players during the week, I think we will start to see a big sway in terms of Liverpool fans starting to turn on Arne Slot, because, like I said, it is getting ridiculous at this point. We ran a poll last night in the live chat, and I think it was about 15,000 votes, and 66% of people were already Arne Slot out at that point, which is, I thought it would be lower than that in all honesty. I'm a bit surprised by that one, but I think that number's only going to grow and grow if we don't get a win at the weekend, because like I said, it's make or break really at this point, and yeah, we need to make. That's all for me this morning anyway. Sorry, it's a bit of a lower enthusiasm for this one. It's just so hard to be enthusiastic about this football club at the minute, because it's dark times. 6 losses out of 7 again. Like, it's just something needs to change, and I want to get us back to winning ways, because it's just depressing at this point. So anyway, if you enjoyed the video, please do hit the subscribe button, hit the like button before you head out. We'll be back recording the podcast early today, so we're recording at 4 o'clock, so it should be out about 5 o'clock. It's myself, Chris, and Craig. We'll be going into all this in more detail, of course, as well, and looking forward to the Villa game at the weekend. So please do check that out when it comes out. Hit the like button before you head out, and thank you very much for watching. I'll see you later.